Hello friends, in this lecture we will look at how to explore and use MS Access, which is a topic for your computer skill test in government exams like ASO, judicial service, etc. So we will focus on the ASO computer skill test and the MS Access part of it. So what is MS Access? MS Access is a database management system. It's where you are able to store your data, you are able to manipulate the data. So in your exam, typically you will be given the data. If you are see suppose there is a information like your ASO result. Now if you have your roll number, you have a name, you have category, gender, and did the candidate qualify for the exam or not. So let us create, so you will be asked to create a database. So the first thing is to create an MS Access database, create a table. You have to populate or enter data to the table, and then we will export the data to an XLS. Okay, so this is what we will try to do. Okay, so let's create the access database. Okay, so let's do that. So access should be there in your computer. If not, you can install it from the Microsoft Office. So go and create a blank database. So when you create a blank database, say our database name is ASO result 2022. Okay, let's create the database. Now when you create a database, you will see something, a view like this comes up, where a default table is created for you and it has a ID and it is asking us to further create. Now if you look at the view in MS Access, there are two views. One is data sheet view and this design view. When you are creating a table in a database, I suggest you go to the design view. Okay, so you go to view, click on design view. Now it is asking us to specify the name of the table. See, the name of the table is final result. Okay, now if you see that now the table name is changed to final result, and you see for a table you have a field name, you have a data type and description. So by default MS Access is creating a ID column for you, and if you look here, there is a key icon here. So that means it is marking this ID column as a primary key. So I hope that you understand what is a database, what is a table, what is a primary key. For those who don't have that knowledge, you can please look up in Google. But in brief, the data that we have, or the information that we have, when we store it in computers, so what is data? It's either a number or some words, right? So this, if it is so now when you are storing this data, you can store it in a file in a computer, or you can store it in a database as a table. Now a database has many database objects, like table is one of category of objects. You can have queries, you can have views, you can have stored procedures, you can have forms, you can have reports. For now, for your exam, just familiarize yourself with these basics. So we have created a database. So database is where we are going to store our information, store our data. We are going to store the data in tables. Now storing the data in a table gives you some advantages than storing the data in files. If you are storing it in a table, you can process it well, you can find relationships, you can store complex data and their relationship in table of format, which is difficult in files, and processing and extracting information is much more easier in database. So MS Access is a default database that comes with Microsoft. It should be there if you have installed Office. If you don't have Office, you can get Office and install the MS Access component. Now in the exam you will be asked, the first thing you will be asked to create a database. So you do that in the steps that I have shown you. Now we are creating a table. A table information is stored in is organized as a table has 3-4 important concepts, like you have a table name, for example, like the one we gave the name as final result. Now the table has columns. What are columns? Columns are how you want to organize your table. So just like in your school mathematics, you must have seen a table. So the columns are is the way of organizing your data in a tabular format. So if you look at this spreadsheet, the information that we need to store, that we are asked to store, is you have roll number, you have name, you have category, you have gender, result. Say Sita. So Sita roll number is 10021. She belongs to unreserved category. She is a female, and she has qualified. So this information, if you store in a table, so this is called a record, and so each record is identified uniquely by a column which is a primary key. So the columns in this table are roll number, name, category, gender, and result. Now these columns can store data of particular types. So each column has associated data type. As I mentioned, data as primarily these are either numbers or words. So in numbers, you're talking about small numbers, like which are in the range of 2 digits, 3 digits, or you're talking about large numbers. So depending on, similarly in words, are they hardly 1 or 2 characters, or they are more than 3-4 characters, or you're talking about lines and text. So depending on what is the size of the information you want to store, be it the numbers or be it words, you have different data types. So here roll number, we see that they are the roll number is of has the length of 6, and it's a number. So we have taken the data type, we can put as a integer. Similarly, the name has Sita, Shama, so it's basically less than 10 or 20, so it will be a string. So gender, we are saying it's generally male, female, we can denote it with single characters. So data type is basically the size and the type of the data that you are storing. So when you are creating a table, you need to specify a table name, you need to know the column names, you need to know the column type, and once you have a table created, then you can enter the data. Okay, each of the data record that is entered is called a row. Each row of the table is identified uniquely by a certain column, which is called the primary key, or the key that identifies. Okay, in this table you see that roll number uniquely identifies as Sita, because there may be some other person by the name Sita also, but then so this roll number is the one which is identifying one from the other. So you got the concept of key. So that was a small digression. Okay, so now let's come back and let's quickly create the columns. We have, say, roll number, and we have name, Okay, ignore that warning for now. You have category, you have gender, and then you have result. Okay, now let's go to the data type. So roll number, let's see what data types we are coming. We know it's a number. Say name, what options we have: short text, long text. Let's go for a long text here. Category and gender, let's keep it short text. Result also we can keep it as short text. Now we have specified what are the fields in that table. We have specified what are the data types, and the key, we want the roll number to be the primary key. So here ID we don't need, so we remove the ID. Okay, so and you make roll number as your primary key. Got it? So now let's save it. Okay, now we have the database table created, and now let's enter some data to it. You see, when you create the when you click this table, there is some, you get the option of insert rows, delete rows. So if you click on insert rows, this you can add more fields to it. So for now let's stick to what we have, and let's go and try to enter the data to it. So for that you need to go to view and go to the data sheet view. This will help you enter the data. So you can enter the data that we want to enter here. So let's see, we have Sita. So just like in a spreadsheet, in Excel, whatever you are entering, similarly in the data sheet view of MS Access you can easily enter the data. So as of now we have created MS Access database, we have created a table. Now we are populating the data in that table that we created. So for now I will just create, maybe insert one more row, and then we will go to the next item. So it's very easy here in MS Access. Okay, and this one is great. Right, so suppose these are the two things that we enter for now. Okay, now you can now suppose in the exam they ask you that, okay, you enter the data and you export the whatever you have entered in your database, whatever data is there in your table, you export it and save it in the file in Excel in a particular location. So if that is asked, then we can click on the table, you can go to export, you can go to Excel, and you can quickly browse. Say my location is in the E drive, say here, and now so suppose I give this final result export. Okay, so let's do that. Export data with formatting layout. Okay, and okay, now we are done. So let's see what file comes in. So you see here the database we created is mentioned ASO result 22. It's MS Access database. This is the input we use, and this is the export that we, 2 records should come. Let's see. Okay, so 2 records we have come. So hope this gives you a flavor of what is MS Access, how to create a database, how to create table, how to enter data to the table, and then how to export the data to a Excel sheet. Okay, we will catch up again. Hope you have a good time. Thank you. Thanks.